Hello and welcome. You're watching News 9 Live. I'm Shweta Kothari. The top story we're tracking at this hour: Indian markets are rallying, and how both Sensex and Nifty have broken record levels in yet another day of bull run in the markets. What's leading the rally and what does it mean for investors? My colleague Suyash Maheshwari has the details.
In yet another historic feat, the Indian markets achieved another milestone today. Nifty 50 has now scaled the 23,000 mark for the very first time. Meanwhile, the 30-share Sensex has also reached a new record high, climbing above the 75,500 level for the very first time as well. Nifty has now gained nearly 1,200 points, or over 4% in just 10 sessions, outperforming most global stock markets. Earlier this week, Indian markets also touched the 5 trillion rupee market cap, adding the latest 1 trillion in just 117 days. So what's driving this unprecedented rally? Let's try and understand 5 factors that are pushing the bulls forward. The biggest factor, perhaps, are the Lok Sabha elections. The most recent 1,000-point surge for the Nifty began on May 13, coinciding with the fourth phase of the ongoing general elections. Investors celebrated the improved voter turnout in the fourth and the fifth phase, particularly as more northern states cast their ballots where the BJP-led NDA government has a strong presence. Political leadership's stated confidence in the market has also played a significant role. Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently stated that both the BJP and the stock market will touch a fresh record high on June 4th when the Lok Sabha election results are declared. Union Home Minister Amit Shah and External Minister S. Jaishankar have also stepped forward to address market concerns. Shah even urged investors to seize the opportunity and buy stocks ahead of the anticipated rebound after June 4th. These reassurances from the top leaders and positively influence the market sentiment. Then there are foreign brokerages that are suggesting that the recent election-related investor concerns were unwarranted. Bernstein, which is a global wealth management firm, for instance, expect the short-term stock market rally either leading into the elections or the week after the results if Prime Minister Narendra Modi is re-elected. That said, the brokerage sees profit booking thereafter as the reality of execution and valuations emerge. Two other multinational banks, Nomura and HSBC, are also bullish on Modi and India. Japan-based Nomura has predicted an outright win for Modi's BJP, which could send stocks flying on the D Street. Analysts at HSBC went a step further, anticipating a 323 win for BJP compared to 303 seats in 2019, with NDA coalition reaching 377 tally this time around versus 353 in the 2019 general elections. While foreign brokerages are bullish on Modi and India, the same sentiment has not been reflected in the actions of the big foreign investors. Foreign institutional investors, for instance, have pulled out 33,500 crore from the Indian markets since the start of May. However, their incessant selling has been more than compensated by the consistent buying of domestic institutional investors who have pumped in over 44,000 crores in the Indian markets in the same time frame and extending their buying spree to 10 straight months now. Also improving the sentiment is RBI's surprise gift to the government. At a time when some of the central banks in the advanced economies have reported losses and negative equity, the Reserve Bank of India has announced a bumper dividend of rupees 2.1 lakh crore to its sole owner, the government. The mega dividend by India's central bank will help government reduce its fiscal deficit and step up infrastructure spending.
Well, that's all we have as far as markets is concerned. But shifting focus now, there is a severe heat wave alert in North India. And if heat is bothering you already, get prepared to go sleepless too. If you are in the National Capital Region, brace for frequent and long power cuts as electricity supply is compromised. Remember, maximum temperature index has now touched 50 degrees Celsius in Delhi, and needless to say, Delhi is burning. Imagine being without power for long hours, especially at night. There is a heat wave red alert for Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and Chandigarh. The conditions are expected to persist according to Indian Meteorological Department. People are dying of heat stroke And in all of this, India's power infrastructure is now under great pressure. As people switch on ACs, power deficit in June is projected to be the highest in 14 years. India is staring at a looming power crisis. Electricity demand and supply projections show a major power deficit, especially at night time when it is likely to be the widest this June since 2010. The demand is likely to come in at 235 gigawatts, while the supply is projected at 221 gigawatts. This leaves a deficit of at least 14 gigawatts. The peak power demand for this summer season touched a whopping 229 gigawatts on 18th of May. And this will only increase further as severe heatwave conditions continue. The shortage is no surprise. It can be attributed to the usual delays in projects and poor storage levels in reservoirs in India. Now, coal-fired power projects scheduled to outstream in March with a power capacity of 3.6 gigawatts of power have been delayed. Hydrogen generation has come down steeply due to low levels of water in reservoirs, and the much-hyped renewable energy output has been relatively flat. It has not compensated at all for the shortfall from other sources of electricity, and the above normal maximum temperature has only made it worse. But the problem is not new. In fact, India suffers from this problem every year. So why should you worry this time? What is new this time is that there will be more nighttime shortage of power. The daytime power deficit due to strong industrial demand, which was a problem last time, has been done away with. But with setting up of solar capacity, which has grown to over 4 times in past 5 years, daytime demand has been met. In the absence of this power source at night, the nighttime deficit remains a cause of concern. The government too has kicked into action. The planned maintenance of power plants has already been deferred. The centre has now restarted 5 coal-fired units and allowed imports of coal-fired and power gas power plants to operate at full capacity. It has asked all thermal power plants to also work at full capacity. The completion of delayed power projects has also been now fast-tracked. But these measures are not enough. India needs more power as it grows. And to meet the need, government needs to plan capacity additions and execute them in a time-bound manner. While some keep also, in fact, some buffer capacity for rainy days, in this case, hotter than expected days. The country's power mix needs a right balance of thermal, gas-based power as well as renewable energy, so that a sudden demand spike like this one doesn't send the government into a tizzy and people into darkness, quite literally. But until that happens, you, the residents of Delhi NCR, should prepare to go sleepless on long, hot nights with no power, at least for now. And with that, it's time for a short break here. We'll be back with more on the other side. Keep watching Newsline Live.
Can the Trinamool candidate from Baharampur hit the ball out of the park?
50-60 दिन बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ, उससे पहले ही काम दिखने स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे.
Pitted opposite Pathan in Team BJP is Dr. Nirmal Kumar Saha.
The fight is not Adit Chaudhary and Nirmal Saha. The fight between Modi versus Rahul Gandhi.
Yusuf Pathan and Nirmal Saha, 2 professionals who have switched to politics, are taking on Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Can one of the first-time politicians end his winning streak?
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की। अभी डाउनलोड करें।
Welcome back. You're watching News 9 Live. I am Shweta Kothari. India's most flown airline, Indigo, will now offer business class. Indigo will be introducing a tailor-made business class product on the country's busiest business routes by the end of this year, the carrier announced on Thursday. Now, this move marks a strategic shift in Indigo's product offering so far. More details regarding the product offering, launch date, routes are set to be revealed later in August. My colleague Shriya Kundu brings you all the details on the same.
India's top airline, Indigo, traditionally known for its single-class, no-frills flight service with only a handful of extra legroom seats, has announced its plans to foray into the premium segment by offering business-class services that will be operational before the end of 2024. Now, the company will be introducing a tailor-made business-class product on the country's busiest and business routes, details of which will be announced this August around Indigo's anniversary. Now, this significant shift comes as the airline reported a record-breaking profit of Rs 8,172 crores for the fiscal year of 2024. The airline also announced a net profit of 1,000 rupees 894 crores for the January-March quarter, marking a remarkable 106% increase from a year-ago period. Now, commenting on these developments, the company's CEO, Peter Elber, stated that over the past 18 years, India's and Indigo's growth story have been closely interlinked. We believe as India gears up to become the third largest economy in the world, it's our privilege to provide New India even more options to choose from as they travel business. We are excited with this new phase and tailor-made products in Indigo's evolution and strategy and aim to further give wings to the nation by connecting people and aspirations. The company's decision to introduce business class seems more like filing up the void left by Jet Airways, which was the largest full-service carrier in India before it went down in April 2019. If we look at the current scenario in the airline industry, all the business class seats available in India are by Tata Group of Airlines led by the full-service carriers Air India and Vistara. However, a comparison shows that there are 55% fewer business class seats in India today as compared to when Jet Airways was in operation. In addition to introducing business class seats, the airline also seemed to be working on launching a loyalty program, and this move demonstrates the airline's strategic efforts to fill a gap in the market and strengthen its position against the competitors. It remains to be seen on what configuration the airline decides for the seats. How will Indigo classify its busiest and business routes? And ultimately, will this initiative at all help Indigo to continue to dominate the market and sustain its profitability?
And staying on with the Indian aviation space, after cruising through its fourth quarter performance, India's largest airline, Indigo, as well as combined Tata Group-run airline Air India Express and Vistara have hiked salaries for pilots and crew. The decision comes amid a chaotic sick leave trend that sent Air India Express flights schedule into rough weather. The big question is, will higher salaries put an end to all the flight cancellations and delays owing to crew absence? Let's find out. But first, let's see which airline actually holds major share of the current market. Now, Indigo commands, of course, a lion's share of the sky at 60.5%, followed by Tata-owned Air India Group at 26.2%. Together, it's a duopoly with 86.7% share. Now, Indigo Airline, which registered a 106% growth in net profits, is rewarding its employees with an increased pay and attractive benefits. Pilots and cabin crew are due to receive a bonus of 5% of their salaries. Now, this comes in addition to the bonus of 1.5 months' salary for all employees announced earlier. Tata-owned airline Air India, which has had a difficult quarter with respect to its staff, has also announced salary hikes of up to 15,000 rupees for pilots, as well as annual performance bonus of up to 1.8 lakh rupees with effect from 1st of April. The carrier also announced compensation for pilots who have faced inordinate delays on ground and in simulator training. Here's how the airline has structured the increments and the bonus. From first officer to senior commander positions, salaries have been increased by 5,000 to 15,000 rupees in fixed pay per month. Bonus of 42,000 rupees to 1.8 lakh rupees per annum will be given from junior first officer up to senior commanders. First officer and captain will receive 60,000 rupees in annual bonus. Commander and senior commander will get about 1.32 lakh to 1.8 lakh rupees in bonus. There is, however, no salary hike announced for junior first officers. There will also be compensation for pilots who faced inordinate delays in their ground and simulator training. The airline has also introduced an annual target-based performance bonus for financial year 24-25, which will be paid on the basis of the company and individual performance. Now, Vistara, on the other hand, is increasing pilot as well as cabin crew salaries by up to 15,000 rupees per month, and they will be eligible for bonus as per Air India policy after completion of the Air India Vistara merger from financial year 26. Now, even as the airline invests heavily to effect a turnaround, Air India is likely to narrow its losses in financial year 24 to only around 7,000 crore rupees, as against a massive 50,000 crore rupees loss prior to Tata Group taking over the airline from the government in January of 2022. Now, even as the two largest groups in the Indian aviation make an effort to retain talent in the cockpit as well as the cabin, will pilots and crew of Air India and Vistara tide over the differences in their minimum monthly salary that has long held them to an en masse sick leave, resulting in flight delays and cancellations? Well, we don't know. But moreover, remember, airlines investing enough in pilots. Are they in fact investing enough in pilot trainings and upgradation as they expand their offerings with large aircraft order? Well, India needs an additional 2,800 pilots to cater to the growing demand in cockpits, with order books of airlines now looking very heavy. And finally, can airlines ensure that fog-related delays and lost baggage will become a thing of the past? We'll only have to wait and find out. With that, it's time for a break. We'll be back with more. Keep watching Newsline.
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me. When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure. When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless.
Mind and body are entangled sensations.
That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a